Thank you for joining Meeples on Meeples for our Holiday Extravaganza 2012. This time we'll be talking about our biggest disappointment of the year. A few of us may have a couple, but we're just going to kick it off here. I'm Andrew.
Adam.
Brian.
You want to start it off?
Heck, I might as well.
Start this train rolling.
I know last time we talked about Spartacus and how it was a TV show and you don't expect good things, and then we actually enjoyed that game.
Yeah, licensed games.
Licensed games. This was another licensed game, Gears of War. I expected it to be like the video game. I enjoyed the video game. I couldn't stand the board game. I just couldn't. It wasn't.
I'm gonna hop on this one too, but
it didn't do it for me. The first few minutes I'm all excited and I'm rolling, and then all of a sudden everything's coming here and you don't know what's going on, and then I don't know. It flipped me upside down and I didn't like it at all. It just hurt to play. After a while, I just became disconnected with it and said, forget it.
You're just rolling or doing whatever just to make it end.
I personally would disagree. I didn't love it like Pat does. Another guy in our group. I liked it. I think it played fairly well. I would probably give it like a 7 out of 10. I'm not saying I loved it, but I think you're being a little overly harsh on it.
Okay, here's what I'm going to say about Gears of War.
And
people out there in the world, if you want to see a review, let us know. We'll put one out there.
Yeah, we have a lost episode we've been holding back on, but if you want to see our Gears of War episode, let us know. We'll put that baby up.
It's harsh.
Anyway,
it is very harsh.
But
I was not in on it, just for the record. I'm not the hater here.
Do you have any others? Or
no, that's just my one. It beat me up and I didn't like it.
I'm going to continue on that one. Gears of War, the problem is that it was a licensed game. If it didn't have the Gears of War title on it, it may have been better. But at least in my experience playing at least the first two games pretty thoroughly, it didn't replicate the game very well.
Right.
It just...
Well, will you add to that? Like, what about it? What did it not replicate?
One of my biggest problems, and I've said this in past reviews we've done too, is games that have rules that make no sense just turn me off. And Gears of War, for instance, one of the problems with it that I had is your character, when shooting, has a limited number of spaces he can see to shoot. You can see 2, 3, 4 spaces.
True.
The enemies don't have that same limitation. So if you were 20 spaces away, you couldn't hit that enemy. But if for some reason you were the closest person to that enemy and they were directed by the cards you played to attack, they could see you that full 20 spaces and shoot and kill you. My other problem
Did you try mixing up your strategies?
We tried a few different strategies.
Okay,
yeah.
Did you try not sucking?
that might be...
Okay.
And another issue with
that doesn't seem... I mean, I don't want to say it's
I'm being a smart aleck. I'm being a smart aleck.
And just another nitpicky rule maybe that I had a problem with is the enemies have hit points, but if they have more than one hit point, it doesn't matter how many times you hit them. The first time you hit them, no matter how much damage you do, they go down to 1 hit point. So if they're a 4 hit point thing and you hit them once but you don't hit them enough to kill them, they go down to 1. If they're a 3 hit point person, you hit them once but you don't hit them enough to kill them, they go down to 1. It makes absolutely no difference what you roll to how much damage you're going to do to those multiple hit point characters. There's just things like that. Other than that, they don't drop weapons all the time. They only drop weapons in certain circumstances, completely different than the game. They don't have you fight in an area where it's a limited room. You clear that room, then move on to the next one like you do in the game. The animals,
you don't get the cool guitar riff to know that you cleared it.
The enemies just stream in and stream in and stream in.
They could come up with a simple button. You just hit it when you clear a room.
Yeah, exactly.
That was my biggest problem was the name. You walk into it, you expect something. It didn't satisfy my expectation.
Rather than drag on about it, if you want to see the review, let us know. Otherwise, just know that we
see the review. You don't want to.
It's kind of entertaining. Anyways, my other one that I'm going to throw in there.
A lot of bleeps.
That is for sure. The one I'm going to throw in there is Zombicide. And I liked the idea when I heard about it. I was thinking Left 4 Dead video game, same idea. You're a bunch of survivors fighting against the zombies, and it does do that actually pretty well.
It does.
It just disappointed.
Hordes and hordes of zombies coming. Yeah.
It just disappointed me. It wasn't necessarily that it was just a terrible game. It's just I was going in with really high expectations. Beautiful looking game, great components. I love the idea behind it, and we've played it I think 3 times. And by the time I finished the 3rd game, my thoughts basically were, and you can go back and see the review, without any house rules, I probably wouldn't want to play it again. If we house ruled it, I'd play it, but after 3 games without house rules, if you play just the stock rules...
Well, here's the thing. I'll jump in there. I also put it as the biggest disappointment. Now, keep in mind, when we reviewed it, I gave it a 7. I actually liked the game, but I thought it was going to be a 10. I thought it was going to be blown away by how great this game is. Now, again, we played it several times with the rules out of the box. You can go to their official website. The makers of the game have offered alternate ways to tweak the difficulty. Remove some cards from the
I'm going to throw this out there, though.
Change the way you spawn.
That gets into my rules problem with games, and it just shows, almost to me, like they put out the game and then realized, oh, holy crap, this thing is broken to some aspect. Yeah, we meant for you guys to be able to make these changes. Oh, we meant all along you were supposed to be able to do this. It seems like they're almost coming back and trying to say, oh yeah, that wasn't meant to be an issue. We're trying to fix it this way. It seems like out of the box it's broken.
It was, but they have gone on to try to. Don't you at least appreciate that they've tried to fix it?
I appreciate that, but I think they need to put out an official rule.
Because that was our complaint. It's too hard, and that the zombies just overtake you, which they're supposed to. It's supposed to be a big horde of zombies against a small band of survivors, but it was insanely hard. And so they've tweaked it to get rid of that. I think if we were to play it again,
make those tweaks official and put out a new PDF of the rule book. A new PDF of the rule book showing those.
I believe they've done all. It's all on their website. They have. It is officially on their website.
I actually want a rule. I don't want to have to go to the forums and kind of read through things. I want them to say, you know what, we screwed up. Here's a new rule book for you.
Well, they may have. I haven't looked at that, but they have officially put those things out.
I appreciate that from developers. I'll give them that.
So it's a good game. Don't get me wrong.
It is.
When I say disappoint, I'm not saying it's a total flop. People are paying outrageous prices on eBay to get all the stuff from the Kickstarter campaign.
And I enjoyed the game too, but I feel that sometimes towards the end of the game, you're almost just like, how can we win this? Because it's just so ridiculous.
But again, it's hard. Take some cards out. There's rules change how you spawn the zombies, and it's fixed.
Right. So. It seems hard to be hard for no reason, but with house rules, it could be really good with house rules.
Right. So I was disappointed, even though I gave it a 7. I liked the game, but I just thought it was going to be the best thing ever. Level 7, we played a couple times. I was a little disappointed.
Really?
I like the theme. It's you. It's called level 7 because you're on the lowest level of this like security complex in the future. It's like this sci-fi, really dark and gritty kind of alien type vibe. All of a sudden, for some reason, the base you learn is there's 7 different scenarios, one for each level in the prison. Go on, the story develops, but basically aliens have invaded or whatever, and all of a sudden you break out of your prison cell and you have to try to escape. So there's guards wandering, there's aliens. Great theme, beautiful artwork. But then when you play the cards, so it has this awesome backstory. You read like a full page of like, hey, here's the story, and then you start the game. When you're playing cards in the game, I don't know if you remember, there's no flavor text, as people call it. It says make an intelligence roll, and if you fail, a guard will appear. Basically is what it says. It doesn't say why. Like, I failed to deactivate a security camera. Give me a little flavor text so I know why I'm making an intelligence roll. It's just make an intelligence roll. If you fail, this bad thing happens.
I think they have titles though that kind of give you
a little teeny title. I just felt like there was no. Nothing putting it into context.
I'm going to disagree with you. I knew nothing about the game until you broke it out that night. Had never heard about it. I had a really good time with it.
I had the opposite. I kind of bought into the hype after reading online.
I could do it.
I pre-ordered at the same time I pre-ordered Spartacus.
Okay.
Because I had to complete the order to get free shipping. I'm like, I'll throw it. It was like $30.
It was all about the free shipping.
Yeah,
that's the only reason.
One more game for free shipping. It looks really cool. I set my sights a little too high. We'll review it later.
Something else on there?
And then Cargo Noir. When we played Cargo Noir with the ships...
Okay, I can agree with that one.
We played it. Nice components. The rules make sense. Super easy. And when we were done, we all went, meh.
We haven't touched it since. And that was early on.
Yeah. We're like, nobody's asked to play it again. Nobody hated it. Nobody loved it. We all were literally like, well, that was a game.
I did read it on the list, and I had to ask. That's how big of an impression it made.
Yeah, which game was that again?
Right.
So disappointing because I think they just missed the mark on that. I really do. When you put so much money into great components and artwork, and you're all the head of some kind of crime syndicate or a crime family, and then there's nothing involving crime or shady illegal deals in the whole game. It's just I'm bidding on things. Yay.
Well, is that all the games we have for our disappointments?
Those are my big disappointments.
All right. Well, next time, let's see here. We are doing games we can't get enough of. I have an odd feeling we're all going to be on the same game here. But check us out next time, and we'll let you know what we want to play over and over and over.